Hey, what's up? What's going on, you guys? So today we're going to be talking about the haves and have-nots, the newest episode. I think I didn't do last week. I can't really remember. I think there was something going on, wasn't it? Oh, you know what I was watching? I was watching Candy Girl, oh my world. New edition. I was watching that, so I didn't do the review, I believe, if I remember correctly. I remember I was thinking I wasn't going to do it, so I don't think I did it. But anyway, we're doing it this week. So Jeffrey and Candace, they met up like at the normal hotel place, and they were waiting for Veronica because Veronica is quote-unquote supposed to be helping them out. But Candace doesn't feel too good about this. She already knows that Veronica always wants something for something. Like, you cannot, she's not going to do a favor for you. Like, yeah, that's her son, but at the end of the day, he's going to have to do something. Like, you always have to pay her back type of thing. Like, almost like dealing with the devil. You always know that you're going to have to pay that devil back some way, shape, or form, or you got to give your soul for that help. And that's exactly what pretty much ends up happening. So, meanwhile, while they're there waiting for her, what's his name? I think his name is Chris, the cop. He calls Jeffrey and pretends that he's talking to the sergeant. And he's like, yeah, we found a body here. Yep. Okay, like he's pretending he's talking to him, having a conversation, but really just trying to let Jeffrey know what's going down and what they just found out. So Jeffrey's eyes is wide open and he's just like, oh my gosh, like this is getting real. You know, now he's really getting scared and frightened and everything else. So he's like, yeah, okay, gotcha. You know, and Jeffrey kind of plays along and then he tells Candace what just happened. So this, I think, kind of opened Candace more up to seeing what it is that Veronica had on her mind. You know, because at the end of the day, they need some way to get out of this because this is bad. This is really bad. So Veronica, she finally arrives, and when she does, she goes straight to the, what is it, the concierge or the person, the clerk at the front desk, so she could scam them, honey. She brought a bouquet of flowers, and she's like, she said something about, I think they left it in the taxi, and she told the taxi driver she was going to find out who it belongs to, but she knows for there, and she needs to know she doesn't know their last name, but she can look it up and let her know, and she's like, if you can do it now. So the dumb lady, I mean, she wasn't dumb, but she pretty much broke policy, but Veronica was very convincing. But this is how you lose your job, you know, by doing things against the policy. That's why you got to be the mean ones and just be like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Like, if you would like to speak to my manager, I will allow you to do so. Because I know me, if I was working at the front desk, you wasn't going to get through me because I'd be like, I'm sorry, ma'am. If you would like to speak to my manager, because no one's going to say that I did something wrong, you know? And so they find out who Erica is, calls her, tells her to come. She says she's going to come downstairs to get the flowers. So Veronica's like, checkmate. She goes to sit down with Jeffrey and Candace, and she's just kind of like, you know, talking to them, trying to find out things from them, and Candace wasn't really trying to tell her nothing. And you know, I don't blame her because you don't know what her motives are at the end of the day, and she knows, like I said, you're gonna have to do something if she's even helping you. He's like, come on, like, this is my mom, like, you know, she's trying to help us. She's like, no, that's your mother, she's trying to help you. She doesn't like me. I'm not going to give her ammo that she can pin on me, which could possibly happen. Like, you tell this lady all your secrets, she could end up using it against you if you do something that she doesn't like. But Jeffrey was just pouring and spilling out the information like it was water, honey. He was just like, here you go, mom. Here you go. Whatever you want to know, I got you. So tells her about how they stabbed the man, and Candace actually knew a lot about the laws because remember, she did go to law school, although she did not end up. Did she pass the bar? I don't think she took the bar, or she didn't pass the bar. I think she didn't take the bar, if I remember correctly, because she had all those other things that she had going on. But, yeah, that's when she started doing all those scamming with Jim and all that. But yeah, back to this. So he tells her about the way they stabbed him, how many times they stabbed him, also about the foreclosure, and where they buried him. But once he mentions, or actually I think she mentioned, it was actually Candace that mentioned that it's no longer her house when Veronica asked her for the keys. She also asked him to give her $1 each. That way, it can be stated and on the record that they did hire her, regardless of how much it is. Once you give a lawyer money, that means that you've hired them. I'm assuming. I think I heard something like that before too, where it was like a similar situation. But so yeah, they tell her everything, and then she mentions the foreclosure, like, oh, it's not my house anymore. So, and she's like, wait. And then she was like, and then they both looked at each other like, oh snap, got him. You know, they kind of look like that. And then Veronica ends up like, okay, she ends up leaving like, you know what, I'm going to see what I can find out. You guys, she told Candace, you go ahead and tell my son everything, you know, to just kind of fill him in, because he's just sitting there like they speak in another language. So she reveals, once Veronica leaves, that they actually will not be able to be, this is not admissible in court or whatever, because the house was foreclosed before, I guess they had the warrant or something like that. So the warrant isn't even legal right now because, you know, the whole foreclosure thing, you know, some legal lawyer stuff. I'm trying to say from what I can remember from here, but you know, I don't really know all this stuff. So that's pretty much what went down. It's not able to be used, and it can be argued in court because they was no longer the homeowners. So I didn't do it. Anybody could have did it. It's not my house anymore, type of thing. So yeah, it looks like she's about to get off. Like both of them is about to get off scot-free. So they just got to keep their mouth shut and just go with it. Go with the flow of things. Following that, let's see what else happened. Jim, he wasn't really like as dumb as Catherine would like him to be, because he ends up telling her, well, asking her, like, you know, about the whole night and how Jennifer was killed and all these things. And she tried to play it off and tried to have an answer, or as my Aunt Liz would say, a plaster to every sore, but it didn't work, because a lot of the questions that he asked her, she wasn't answering them correctly, or she kind of like messed them up, and he's like, there, you're convicted right there. They're going to throw the keys at you, throw the book at you, because you just messed up. You just messed up right there. Just messed up right there. She's like, I did it. Like, she finally confessed to him that she did it. And he's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Are you stupid? This is the DA. They're actually going to come looking for her. This is not somebody that nobody cares about. Like, she has a real job. This is somebody that's high up in ranks. And she's just like, she didn't care anymore. She was pushed to the point where it was just like, whatever. She got between her and her one living child, and she didn't care. He's just like, you know, we're gonna have to clean this up. He's putting his head together, making the wheels turn, and he's coming up with something that he can do. Benny was devastated because Candace did not show up to save the day like she normally does. Like, you know, she be throwing them stacks. She always tries to find a way, even if it's her own mistake, she tries to find a way to fix it. But this time around, things were a little bit different, so she wasn't really able to fix it. And she was kind of like tied up, trying to fix her own mess so she could stay out of jail. Because, I mean, you can't fix nothing in jail. Even the little money that she had inside the safe inside her house, that was gone as well, because they took that as evidence. But then later on, he gets a call from his homeboy that tells him that Ward's getting out of prison, and he needs to keep Candace safe because he thinks that Candace has something to do with the whole setup with the drugs and all that, and he's ready to go find her. So he's like, yo, you got to keep her safe. When Benny mentions that, his mom is just like, War is, I raised War. I used to feed War in my house. Warwick? No. He's just like, there's a whole nother Warwick that you don't know about. Like, I gotta go. You don't know him. So he rushes out to go save the day, save Candace Day, because at the end of the day, he's like, that's my sister. You know, regardless to whatever, the way he feels about her at the moment, that's his sister, that's his blood. And, you know, blood comes before just about everything in most cases. Sometimes you can't stand your blood. I mean, yeah, let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. So Wyatt, he's fiending for the cocaine. I guess it's like coming out of his system. He's on that rush. He needs it to survive. this is the time when it's good for them to be in like rehabilitation centers, because you know they kind of help you out with all that. I'm assuming from what I see on TV. But unfortunately, you know, he goes to see one of his rich friends, the one that gave him the blow, the cocaine in the first place, and he's like, nah, I'm not selling it to you. He's like, one of my homeboys went down for murder for something like this, and I'm not doing it. I'm not risking everything for you. So, yeah, you almost died. You OD'd. You were in the hospital. Nah, you didn't learn your lesson. He's like, I did. I just need some. Nah, you ain't learned nothing. I'm not. So, bright old Wyatt decides, you know what? Let me go to the hood. Let me go get the local drug dealers. Let me go in my hot car that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, roll up to the hood, get my cocaine, give them a little cash, and I'm going to be good. Nah, bro. You mess with the wrong people, because this chick, what's his name, sister, and her two people that she was with, they see him, he rolls up asking them for some blow, and they're like, oh, you want some blow? And then they pretty much is like, you know what, you got money in your pocket, pull up a gun on him, and he's like, he gives them the money that he does have. They're like, oh, so you got a lot of money, rich boy, look at your car, you know. I mean, he set himself up for failure with that. I mean, I guess he wasn't thinking, because he was just wanting that fix so badly. But honey child, they like, then they find out who he was after he gave them, I think they gave him the, how did they find out? I think they saw his wallet, or maybe they might have recognized his face. I don't really remember but they said his name. They're like, oh, you're one of the criers. And instinctively, of course, they're going to know, like, okay, this dude is loaded with money. Like, do you know these people? They're like, nah, let's go see our house. We're going to get some more money. So, with a gun to his head, they rolling up in his car. They in a nice car now. They about to live a good life, bruh. Yo, I swear, Wyatt, he be doing the most. Like, you just got out of a bad situation, jumping right into the next bad. So Jim tells David that it actually wasn't Veronica who did it. And he was actually surprised, because, you know, she's been going off the chain lately, like just doing some crazy things, and not in the good way, not off the chain, like chain. No, she's been doing foolishness and just acting like she done lost her flipping mind. So he's like, wow, like he was surprised that it wasn't her, and looked like he was relieved as well. And he's like, nah, we're still in this together. Like, regardless of who did it, we're still in this together. He tells him, he's like, yeah, you know. He tells him that they're gonna set up some local gangster that got out of jail, and pretty much light her up on fire and say that he did it. David is like, he doesn't really feel too good about this, but he's down for the cause, because it's better if somebody else is a criminal than them, huh? So Jim tells him, you know what, you gotta talk to her, see where her head's at, make sure that she's not about to, like, you know, snitch at any time soon. Like, you know, you gotta make sure. And he's just like, you know, as much as I was committed to stay before, I'm committed to leave. I'm not talking to her. So Jim says that he's going to be the one to go ahead and have a little conversation with her and just make sure that, I guess, she's not about to, like, snitch anytime soon. So David calls Erica to just kind of speak to somebody that's sane, somebody that is, like, going to take him away from the madness, you know. The other woman always makes you feel happy and takes you away from the craziness that you have to deal with on a daily basis. And that's exactly what Erica is, like, doing for him in a way. That's why he loves her companionship. He loves her company, and he would most likely eventually hit it if he's able to, you know? Because, I mean, he's committed to leave, so now he won't feel so bad about it. Anyway, so he talks to her, and she is like, you know, thank you for the flowers. He's like, what flowers? She's like, well, it says your name, David Harrington, on the flowers. So he's like, nah, boy. Like, there's only one person that would know, like, his name and all that. He's like, nah. And he already remembered the conversation from earlier and how she tried to talk to Erica and find out who she was and where she was at. So now he's just like, throw them out. Throw them out. He probably thinks there's poison in them. Maybe there's a bomb in them. He's like, put them outside of your door. Do not keep them in your room. Those are not for me. She goes to do so, follow directions as told, and who is standing right there in front of her door? Miss Veronica Harrington, ready for war, honey. This girl, I know she going to try to intimidate her, but she don't know Erica's from the hood, honey. Erica's a whole different person. She ain't like Miss, what's her name? Miss White Lady. She ain't like her. And she tried too. She tried to get a little, a little defensive and stand up for herself. But unfortunately, Veronica ended up killing her. But this one right here, I think is a match. A good match. Because any friend of Candace can most likely take her. I'm hoping. I kind of feel like she can, but we gonna see. I'm excited. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay fabulous, live free, and soar limitless. I'll see you in the next one. Later.